We got about a half-hour light left. There's a whack of bucks in there. I think I made a good shot on him.
You're on him?
Yep. Nothing's easy in this country. That was a hike and a half, boy.
Over the summer, Blake Coots and I had drawn Montana archery antelope tags, and plans were quickly made to join up with good friend and fellow guide, Destry Harris, to take advantage of the early August archery season. Unfortunately, I had to leave earlier than expected to guide a Dall sheep hunt. Long story short, we only had a 2-day window to try and fill our tags. Not a problem with hot, dry weather conditions.
Looks like it's gonna get a little wet.
It didn't exactly look like ideal waterhole weather, and by the time we got down to Destry's, over 3 inches of rain had completely saturated the area.
Well, it is opening day of the Montana archery antelope season. We're down here hunting with Destry Harris, and today we're sitting on a waterhole. Destry was through the area to check on the blinds and that, and said he's seen a small herd of antelope not very far away with one really good buck in them, and we're hoping he's gonna slip on our way and try to have a drink here. So we'll see what happens, and we'll hopefully show you some antelope before the end of the day.
Well, it's about midday here. It's starting to heat up pretty good. It's got to be probably mid-80s, so seen a few decent bucks off in the distance, out at probably 300-400 yards, but not looking like they're real thirsty yet, so we'll see what happens.
Back at Blake's blind, he hadn't exactly seen any bucks yet. On the bright side though, the local turtle population was keeping him more than entertained, as they gradually hit the warm banks to soak in a little heat, and hopefully it wouldn't be long before a thirsty old buck would come in for a drink.
Well, as you can see, we just had a beautiful goat slip past the blind here, about 150 yards, but didn't want to come into the slough here. He just kept running down the ridge to the north, and beautiful goat. His horns really swept forward. So would love to have had him come closer to try to get a shot at him. But all we can hope is he's going to slip back past again, or somebody else will come in. So we'll just wait and see what happens.
Now, back at my blind, the rut was definitely in full swing. The only problem was, it wasn't exactly the antelope rut. On the bright side though, tomorrow's forecast called for clear skies and warmer highs.
The Canadian Guide Life with Brad Fry is brought to you by Monarch Images, trail cameras that capture the action. Fort Muzzle Shell Outfitters, Montana's finest big game hunts. Buddy Ramp, the safe way to get loaded. Big Buck Magazine, Canada's #1 deer hunting publication. And by Fry's Canadian Outback Outfitters.
Before the break, day one saw Blake with the best chance when this good-looking buck strolled past his blind. Unfortunately, heavy rains prior to our hunt just gave the antelope way too many places to find a drink, and although we switched up tactics for day two, we headed back north with a newfound appreciation for hunting waterholes. A few days later, and Destry was back out scouting for his next 2 hunters. With the hot, dry Montana winds now scorching the open prairie, the bucks are actually running to the water holes. And you guessed it, it didn't take long for Destry's hunters to connect on a couple of mature bucks. A few weeks later, and Destry was finished up with his antelope finds for the year and was back out scouting for a few up-and-coming deer hunts. And apparently, I need to talk to him about a mule deer hunt for next year. Anyway, that evening Destry got the itch to sit at one of his water holes to try his own luck, and after his neighbor vacated the scene, he slipped into his blind for an afternoon sit.
It's 7:30. Oh, those bucks, I've been watching them for about 20 minutes here. They came up on the skyline and just grazed their way down in here, and I think I made a good shot on him. I think I heard him go down, so give him a little time, let the rest of these work out of here, and go get our hands on him. There he is. Oh, yeah, nice buck, you bet. Yeah, good curl. Just good, pretty buck. He came in and watered at 30 yards. Give me a good shot, and I was lucky enough to go ahead and take it and make it. So he didn't go far. We're just on the back side of this reservoir right here, and he's piled up. Couldn't be happier.
Drop pine on this side.
It's time now for another blast from the past. Here's Brad with today's vintage video.
Let's go back a few years down to southern Saskatchewan and join up with Ryan Marsh as he only has one day to try and fill his antelope tag.
Folks, here we are, opening day, antelope season, Saskatchewan, Canada. Down here, I drew a tag. I've never, ever hunted or been on a hunt for antelope before. And we're heading down to one area where Brad was last year and seen some good goats. And take it from there, see what happens. Stay with us. Here, there's 7 does and 1 buck in there. Figure he'd be about 12.5 inches, somewhere in there. He's got good mass, his prongs aren't very good, he just peters out. So we're gonna keep cruising some country and see what else we can find. Oh, there's a whole slug of them down there. Nothing quite yet what we're looking for. There's a fairly decent one down there. He just doesn't have very good prongs, so we're gonna let him walk and keep cruising some country here and seeing what else we can find. Alrighty, here we go. Brad and I, we just went and looked at the last patch of antelope there that I said there's a slug of them. Looked them over, decided this other goat's better. He's bedded up here off the side of the hill, so we're gonna go park the truck about 600 yards to the north and come back down here. We were on that road over there to the east, and those antelope were coming to the west here. We went around, come up this road here. They're coming across. There's 3 good bucks here. We gotta move quick. I'm going to sneak up to this hill here and just sit there and ready. They should come across. We should get a shot. But there's 3 good ones there. We'll take one of them when we get there. You're on him?
Yeah.
Oh. Starting to guide whitetails next week, so slip down here for the day and man, we done it. I was getting a little bit nervous, I will say. It's getting to the end of the day, but come down the road there, spotted them half a mile to the east. They come across the field and he's 253 yards. Laid him down right here where he lays. It's just a great hunt. I can't say enough about it. I can't wait to come here and do it again.
After our bad timing on last year's archery antelope hunt, I threw my name in again for the Montana draw, and as luck would have it, I drew an open antelope tag, which basically meant I could hunt with any weapon. Long story short, I was headed back, but this time with my muzzleloader.
Well, I've got a few days in between guiding whitetail hunters here. We've only got 2 days before I got to get back to work, so hopefully we can get it done. Unfortunately, the antelope population has taken a beating last winter. They had an unbelievably bad winter and their population got knocked down pretty good, but on the upside, their population was high before that, so we should be able to find a good number of goats and hopefully some decent bucks, but not going to be exactly picky, you could say. So we're going to go down there, have a good time, have a few giggles. Hopefully we can get an antelope down. Perfect situation down a dry creek bed here. The wind's howling. They didn't have a clue we were in here. But just a little too short. We had them at about 150 yards there a couple times and just couldn't make them grow. So we'll back out of here, go see if we can find the pickup back in the flats there and keep looking. Alright, just spotted about 30 lopers. We got about a half hour light left. There's a whack of bucks in there. It doesn't look like there's anything massive in there, but could be a hidden buck or two. So just gonna try and get within maybe 200 yards. Is probably as close as we're gonna get. See what happens. Wide one in there that I would have been happy with, and probably was going to take a shot in about 10 seconds or so, but as it turned out, I didn't have a primer in my gun anyways. So Destry, what you got any complaints about your hunter, like you want to get off your chest as a guide? Or
yeah, I kind of do. I don't really understand why we keep taking the gun for a walk and don't get to hear a shot go off.
Are you getting frustrated? Like?
I'm a little bit frustrated. I don't really know what the hunter wants to see. Yeah, no, we're just getting warmed up.
Well, that's the end of day one, I think. I don't know how many bucks we saw, probably 15 bucks or so, eh?
Quite a few, yeah.
Quite a few, lots of shooters, so we'll see what happens. But fun day, the weather looks good tomorrow. We'll get up early and start right back at her. Well, day two, Antelope. Hopefully we can go and find that big group we saw last night. See if we can get one down. But we got all day, so away we go.
After drinking way too much coffee, we hit the bumpy prairie trails and quickly found some antelope. Unfortunately, we just couldn't find the same white buck from yesterday evening, and with it being the last day I could hunt, we didn't stick around long and continued on to cover more country. A few minutes later, we crested a ridge and found this small herd with a nice-looking buck bringing up the rear.
Alright, we spotted, looks like about 10, 11 goats, one buck in there, looks like a decent one, so we're going to jump into this creek bottom here, see if we can get a little closer and get a better look at him. And if he still looks good, we'll try him. But
Next week on the Canadian Guide Life.
Next week, we're back up in the Yukon with good friend and client Dennis Stade, looking for that once-in-a-lifetime doll ram.